Hey guys, it's Kyle from AkProFilms, and today let's create a modern and flat-looking intro inside of Motion 5. Now before we actually begin to create this intro, let me show you what the final result will look like. Alright, now that is what we'll be creating today. So I recommend to grab yourself something to drink and some food to eat because this tutorial might be a little bit long. Alright, so before we get into Motion 5, there's a couple things you need to download before you begin so you're all set up for creating this intro. Head on over to flatuicolorpicker.com and that's where we'll be finding our colors for this intro just to make it look nice and flat. All these links will be in the description, by the way. Then make sure to download the copy of this YouTube logo if you want that, and make sure to download some of the icons from this icon set from iconfinder.com. And also, if you want to use the font that I'm using, make sure to navigate to 1001fonts.com, found in the description as well, to download Blogger Sans. And also, quick little note is if you're going to use this icon set, make sure to follow the license. I'm not going to be sharing this intro with anything, so I don't need to worry about that too much, but I'll obviously put an attribution in the description just because I want to make sure I'm following this license, but make sure to read up on that before you use them. Alright, now we have all of those icons downloaded, so let's open up Motion and create this intro. Alright. So when Motion is opened up, make sure to click on Motion Project with a preset of Broadcast HD 1080 with a frame rate of 30 frames per second and a duration of 10 seconds. Then press Open. Now one of the first things I always do when I open up Motion is go up to this percentage where it says 100% and then go to 25% so I can see the canvas and all this working area so I can place in different objects freely. And a key thing to remember is to stay organized with Motion so you know what layers do what, so you can just be organized throughout the entire process. So first, let's create our background layer. So for the background, I used a circle. So press and hold on the Shapes button right here and click Circle, and then press Shift on your keyboard and drag to maintain that aspect ratio. Let's undo that. Doesn't look like I got that 100%. Alright, circle, shift, click and drag, and there we go. So going back to what I said about staying organized, let's go to the group and press Command A to select. All I did was press Return and then Command A. Let's rename this Backgrounds. Perfect. And there we go, we have our circle. And now let's go to the inspector, the properties, and the position and zero out both of these values so it's nice and centered on our canvas. And so for this intro, I'm going to use this nice light blue for my background, but if you want to change that, use whatever color you want, but I recommend using this site called flatuicolorpicker.com. You have all these different colors to choose from, and they all complement each other, or they look good with each other. Alright, so with this circle, let's go back to the properties and go to scale and increase the scale up so it fills our whole project canvas. There we go. Make sure it's zeroed out. Nice. And now let's create another background that's rectangular because we're going to animate that on later. So click and hold on this tool this button right here, press rectangle and click and drag a nice sized rectangle. Now I'm going to go over to here to this, I can't really see what that says, I think it's Madison, yeah, and then copy that hex code, go over to the rectangle, the shape, and the fill color, and click on the color box right there, navigate to the color sliders, and then go to RGB sliders, hex color, paste that code in, and there we go. Looking good so far. And then what we want to do is go to the properties, let's rotate this shape just a little bit, just like so, maybe a 45, nah, just a little too big there, or a little too slanted there, I should say. And then for the scale, let's scale that up nicely. There we go. And let's put that down here for now. because we don't need that at this moment. All right, so the next part is putting in those logos because those logos are gonna pop on. Now, what we wanna do to import them is click on our first image and then our last, press Shift, and then click on the last one and then the third one. Click and drag that into our motion project, and it puts it in a group for us, which is nice. But staying organized again, let's rename that group to our logos. So return Command A, and let's put in logos. Nice. And then let's rename these as well. Let's just delete all that number nonsense in the beginning. So laptop, erase all of that, and then our smartwatch, delete all of that fun stuff. Okay. Then with our laptop, let's move that up because that's going to animate on first. Then our wrench is going to animate on, and then our smartwatch. All right, it's looking nice so far, but I'm not too fond of that blue color, by the way. So let's go back here and let's go to, let's go this royal blue. It looks pretty nice. Go to our backgrounds and just change out that color because I'm not feeling that type of shade. I'm not feeling that one either. Just make sure to choose a color that you like best. So let's see. Yeah, I should have known what color I'm gonna pick up first here. Let's go with this one right here. Command C and Command V. There we go. That looks pretty nice. All right, and then go back to your percent and let's actually fit it to our screen. There we go. That looks good. And then as you saw in the example, we have text at the end, which is my YouTube channel name, as well as the YouTube logo, and kind of like a link thing where it's the YouTube logo / AkProFilms. Well, let's create that. So what we want to do is let's uncheck this option so we don't see our logos right now. And then let's add our YouTube logo as well as some text elements. All right. So what we want to do here is let's call this end text elements. So Command A, end text elements. Elements, spelled that right. Cool. And then let's rename this to YouTube logo, just so we're staying organized, as I say all the time. Looks good to me. All right, and then what we want to do is let's scale this YouTube logo down. We don't really need to do that. Let's just click on one of these blue dots and then press Shift to maintain the aspect ratio and drop down the size just a little bit. There we go. Just place that somewhere on our canvas and then go to our text tool, click on that if you want 3D, do whatever you want there. But then let's type in / AkProFilms, just like that. Since I'm using Blogger Sans, I think I'm gonna go with the light variation for this one and then scale that up or size that up to about 80, let's go 82. All right, that looks pretty good. And then with that text selected, center that up and position it to your liking. That's not good yet. Let's fix that, right? Okay, drop that down just a little bit. Whatever. There we go. That looks okay. It's not perfect. Well, let's make it perfect, right? Okay, put that up. And there we go. That looks pretty nice. Let's just move that over a touch. There we go. And yeah, let's just position it just a tiny bit more so it looks great. There we go. I'm satisfied with that. Then with our AkProFilms, pop that under the end text elements. And then let's click on our text tool again and let's add our AkProFilms text at the top. And then let's go and set that to, let's go with the medium and then size that up as well. That looks really nice. And then with that AkProFilms, let's align that to our canvas right in the center. There we go. Right there. And then let's click on our / AkProFilms in the YouTube logo and let's line that up in the center of this AkProFilms. There we go. Position that accordingly, and there we go. That looks really nice. Maybe drop that down on the Y just a little bit. There we go. All right, that looks really good. So then if we uncheck this and recheck our logo, it looks like we're all set and ready to start animating. All right, so let's begin our next step, which is animating all of these on so it looks really nice. Okay, so first let's go and click on the circle and let's add a keyframe for the scale. So press on the keyframe at 0 seconds, add a keyframe there, and then let's go to 1 second and add another keyframe there. And then let's go back to 0 seconds and let's scale that guy down to 0. Looks good. So what happens is the circle animates on. So let's play that through. That looks okay, but there's one thing missing, and I think that is easing the transition from the scale. So what we want to do is let's go over here to the keyframe editor, and now let's bring that keyframe editor up just a little bit, click on the circle, and then highlight the scale X, the scale Y, and the scale Z. And then let's drag a little box from both keyframes, right click, and ease both. So it's just going to add a little bit of easing to the keyframes so the circle will animate on in a more fluid manner. There we go, that looks really nice. All right, so we're done with our background layer for right now. And now let's click on our logos, and now it's time to animate these guys on. So as you saw in the example, again, we had those logos animate on from the left, right, up, and down, but it seemed like they got cut off. And that's a really cool stylistic choice in my perspective. So to accomplish this, let's go to our rectangle tool, and let's drag and create a rectangle over these logos. All right, so now we can position these on the X and Y, just make sure it looks really nice, and then we can even scale it down or do whatever we would like to make sure the rectangle is completely covering this logo. Okay, let's drag that back out and put it onto our logos group, close out of our backgrounds again, and let's rename this to logos mask. And then from there, let's begin and let's create these image masks. Now basically what an image mask does is it takes this laptop and it puts a mask around it, so whenever it leaves this rectangle mask, you cannot see it anymore. I hope that made sense. So to accomplish this, let's right click on our laptop and add an image mask. And then drag and drop the logos mask into that little drop well right there, into the mask source. And so if you click on the laptop and you go to the properties, then if you drag it left or right on the X or up and down on the Y, it disappears outside of that rectangle. So basically you can animate everything coming on, and anything shown inside of that rectangle, it will be visible. All right, so let's drop down the laptop category, go to the wrench and do the same thing. Add an image mask, drop the logos mask in, close the drop down. And then the same thing, add an image mask and drag and drop the logos mask into the drop well and close that. All right, so now let's begin animating these on. So at 1 second, I want to have that laptop animate on. So let's trim that just like so. And then let's go to 1 second and 15 frames, because 15 is half of 30. And let's do the same thing. And then for the smartwatch, let's do the same thing. We might have to adjust these, and if you want to play around with the timing, feel free to do so. All right, so on our laptop, let's go to our properties and let's add a keyframe on the position, and then let's go 10 frames. So press the arrow key 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then let's add another keyframe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then add another keyframe and then go another 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then add another keyframe. And then on the wrench, let's trim that a little bit more. Now let's do the same process for this wrench. So click to add a keyframe and then go 10 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Add a keyframe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Add another keyframe and then add another keyframe after 10 frames. Didn't want to annoy you again with counting to 10 because you probably know how to do that, which I hope you can. All right, so then on the smartwatch, let's add another keyframe and then go 10. Add a keyframe. Add another keyframe. And then add another keyframe. All right, so we're all set up with the keyframe. Now let's start animating and having some animation fun. All right, that was really dumb. All right, so with the position, since we're on this keyframe, we're all good there. But at the beginning, at 1 second, with this laptop, let's start it from at this. Stop. Okay, click on your laptop. There we go. Then on our keyframe, on our X, let's drag this out. Let's see, why isn't this working? All right, let's see if this works now. Hopefully it does. Hopefully this works. Aha, there we go. Logos mask, make sure that's filling up the whole project just so we're not running into any problems. And then click on your laptop at 1 second, we're at a keyframe, then let's go on the X and let's move that outside the rectangle so you can't, or that mask rectangle so you can't see it. All right, and then that animates on, perfect. We're then at that keyframe. Now let's go to the last keyframe there, and then on the Y, let's bounce that boy all the way up to the top. So basically this animates on like so, comes in like that, leaves like that. Now with our wrench, let's click on that, and then our start keyframe, let's say will be at the bottom here. So put that down there, and then at the end, let's move it out to the left, just like so. And then lastly on our smartwatch, let's animate this on by going over on this side. And then on the last keyframe there, let's have it leave to this side. Boom. All right, let's preview this quick little animation. All right, that looks really cool. Feel free to play around with this animation if you want to go more complex, but I think that looks really good and it fits the theme of this tutorial. Cool, so far let's preview what we have so far. So we have the circle, comes on, animation, animation, animation. Boom, that looks really good so far and we're all organized so we know what we are doing. So let's close out of this logos here, these logos, and now we're left with the end text elements. Right, so let's open this up again and let's see where we left off. We left off at 4 seconds. All right, now we can close it. And then let's click on our AkProFilms text and let's do the same thing we did for the logos with the image mask. So what we want to do is let's turn on all of those elements by clicking the check mark again because we hid them earlier. Let's click on a rectangle and draw a nice size rectangle over this whole area right here. Then go to shape and let's drop down the opacity so we can see what we're dealing with. And then let's make sure we're zeroing out all of these values just so we're nice and centered. That looks really good. Then on the shape, let's increase the opacity more, just like so. And then let's drop that down to the bottom of this group there. And let's see what we name this. Logos mask. This will be our end text mask. So let's rename this to end text mask. There we go. Remember how we did it? Well, you should try it on your own and then we'll continue now. All right, but I hope you know how to do this image mask. So what you want to do is right click, add image mask, and drag and drop that in. Do the same thing for the other two elements. Drag and drop that in, add image mask, drag and drop that in, and there we go. Alright, so now it is time to animate, and then make sure we are dragging that end text mask throughout the whole project so we're not confusing ourselves or messing up the project. Now with AkProFilms, the text element, let's go over to Properties, Transform, Position, add a keyframe. Then let's go 10 frames. And then add a keyframe. And then that's all we need to do. Well, let's see. Let's actually add 15, so put in 15 frames in between. All right, and then let's go to the start frame right there, and let's just take a look. All right. So what we want to do is let's start this animation by coming on from the right-hand side. So click on that, or click on your text, then on your X, let's move it over to this side, just like so. And then what happens is, after that, that animates on. But one thing that we should note is with our logos, let's have the AkProFilms text come in while the watch is leaving. So let's move our playhead to the beginning of that smartwatch animation, and let's move our keyframe to where that starts, so they both animate on. But let's just have a 15 frame gap in between the start here and the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then let's move that keyframe over to where the playhead is, and let's watch that. There we go. So that looks really nice. And now it is time to animate the YouTube and the AkProFilms text. So let's click on our YouTube logo, and let's click on the plus to add a keyframe, and then let's advance 15 frames. All right, and then add another keyframe, and then at the start, let's bring the Y and let's move it down to about -260. There we go. And then let's do the same thing for the AkProFilms text. Let's add a keyframe at the position and then advance 15 frames. All right, and then press the plus to add a keyframe. And then let's advance or go to the beginning. And then what we want to do is go to -260. Maybe we should go to -265. There we go. And then let's go back to this one and change this to -265. We're just making sure both of these elements are aligned properly and that they look the same when they animate on. All right, so we're at -265, then we're at -265. There we go. That looks really, really nice. All right, so as you can see, we're almost done with this intro. We have all of the elements animating on, and now it is time to finish this off by fading off these text elements and then moving in that rectangle background. So let's go to about 8 seconds, and then on our AkProFilms text, let's go to our properties and our opacity control and press the plus button. And then at the end, at 9 seconds, let's add another keyframe and just drop that opacity down. And now since we have this set up, let's just copy both of these keyframes by pressing on one and then pressing Shift and pressing on the other one, then pressing Command C. And then at 8 seconds, just paste that onto our YouTube logo and then to our /AkProFilms logo so it all animates out nicely and together. And then let's go to 8 seconds and 15 frames, and right here we're going to fade out that circle and just go back to a transparent background. Alright, so what we want to do is click on the circle, and then we want to go to our opacity control, and we can easily press and add a keyframe. But you can also scale it out again if you would like to, And I might actually do that just because it looks a little bit nicer. So press on the scale, and then let's go 1 second, so 9:15. Then add a keyframe, and then let's scale that back down to 0. And hey, guess what? We can ease these keyframes as well. So let's go to our keyframe editor, and then let's draw a box over these 2 keyframes, right click, and press ease both, and then close out by pressing the keyframe editor button down here again. There we go. So if we play it back, it fades out really nicely, which looks really nice. And now our last step is animating on this rectangle. So what we can do is let's just close out of all these elements here, just so it looks a little bit nicer and clean, so we know what we're working with. Click on your rectangle, and let's animate the position attributes here. So add a keyframe right there. Let's go at 325. Let's move that keyframe back. And then let's go to right here when it is done at 415, then add another keyframe. Let's go to our end text elements, make sure we're doing that right when it finishes. So we are at 328. Okay, let's see, 15 frames. All right, so we want to actually go 15 frames from where we start. So, all right, so let's go to 413 right when all this stuff ends. 413, drag and drop, drag that keyframe back so it all ends nicely. And then go to that end keyframe and let's animate on that rectangle by increasing or decreasing the X position and then moving the Y value up. Yeah, increasing the Y value as well. And as you can see, we have this red line. Make sure to get it as diagonal as you can. So as you can see, that's getting more diagonal. And if we increase that up, it's getting more diagonal. And there we go. Drop it down a little bit. And then move the X position a little bit like that. So we can get that nice diagonal movement. And if we watch it back, we can see we have that nice diagonal movement. And then if you want to get fancy again, all you want to do is open up the keyframe editor again, and then right here, let's click on all these by dragging a box over all of them and going to ease both. But it looks like it has eased them both. You can just click on ease both again if you want to. There we go. And as you can see, we have that nice rectangle covering the AkProFilms. All right, and then let's let's move this shape out of the way. So let's click on our rectangle and let's click on the position, add another keyframe, and then let's see how many keyframes are between these so we keep it consistent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 18 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then click on the keyframe. But let's copy the first keyframe and paste it at our playhead. So it just animates out like so. All right, there we go. So we finally finished our intro there and it looks really nice. So let's play it back and see what we have. All right, looks good. Everything animates on. And it looks really nice. Animates off and then the circle disappears. There we go. It looks really nice. So we finally completed our intro and it has that nice modern and flat look and feel to it. And then for our last step, we can export this intro by going to File and Export. Or no, we don't go to File. We go to Share and we go to Export Movie. Then you can configure your settings. What I usually do is just keep it on the default settings. And then make sure to go to the render and choose color plus alpha so it keeps that transparent background for use in Final Cut Pro 10 or After Effects, Premiere, or those different editing softwares out there that you use. So make sure to choose color plus alpha. So then just share and export movie, and then lastly, save your project. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching this video where I showed you how to create that flat and modern intro. Now I know this tutorial was long, so if you have any questions, let me know in the comments section below. And if you liked this tutorial, make sure to give it a like down below, as it really helps this video and my channel. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching again, and I'll see you in my next video. Have a great rest of your day.